Hello, Stuart families. This is your principal, Audra Goodman, coming to you with this week's Star Review. Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope your year is off to a great start. We missed your kids over break, and it was so great to see them this last week. I hope everyone had a wonderful break, and I hope you weren't too tired this week. In the spirit of January, I wanted to talk to you about goal setting with your child and making New Year's resolutions as a family. Now, for us grown-ups, resolutions is something we've been talking about for years and years. Many of us do it. It comes pretty naturally to reflect on the previous year and on ourselves and set goals. But for kids, they don't quite have this mindset or this skill yet, and it doesn't come naturally for them. But goal setting is such a huge and important skill for your child to have. It teaches them to be motivated, to take ownership and responsibility. It teaches perseverance, how to overcome challenges. Goal setting does a lot. So I encourage you sometime this month to sit down with your kiddo and set a goal or resolution with them, or a few with them, for this upcoming year. Now, here is a few tips to guide your conversation with them. One is to be specific and realistic. Help make sure they choose a goal that they can actually attain and do well at. They need to choose something that they can do so they feel accomplished in the end and motivated to set more goals in the future. And you don't want it to be too vague. So for example, instead of saying, I want to do better in math, you might say, I want to be able to pass all of my multiplication tests, so I am going to study and practice multiplications at home 3 times a week. Break it down. Discuss small actionable steps that they can use to move towards their goal. Instead of just jumping from, my son, he could do a much better job keeping his room clean. Instead of saying, your room's always going to be clean 100% of the time, we might say, your room is going to start to be cleaner. So on Sunday, you're going to always pick up all your clothes off of the floor and put them in the dirty clothes basket. And then once we master that, the next week, later in that week, you're going to make sure you go through and throw away any candy wrappers that are laying around. Just do little things that they can get a hold of and take action of. Celebrate progress. Acknowledge their efforts, even if you wish they would try a little harder. If you see them working towards it, say something. And any milestones. Maybe they start passing those tests or they increase their score. Make sure you really celebrate it so they can feel the value in being persistent. Model goal setting. Share a goal that you have of yours with your kiddo and talk about how you're working on it. Them just hearing that you're doing it too has such a huge impact. And in the spirit of resolutions and also just looking back at the year before, I also encourage you, for a parent tip this week, to look at how the school year is going for you and your child and talk to your child about it, because it's that midway point and it's a perfect time to make some needed adjustments if you feel they're necessary. So one area, we all know that a good night's sleep and studying at home is huge for your child's academic success. So recommit to any routines. Think about, is their bedtime begin to slip? Are mornings feeling more rushed? Are we not setting stuff out early so that goes smoothly? Do we have a regular study time that we're really sticking to and practicing things when we should? If not, maybe reinstate them and say, hey, it's a new year. We're going to get these habits back on board. Spend more time reading. You'll hear me say this a lot throughout the year. There is no skill that's going to help your child more than reading. So like any other skill, it gets better with practice. So encourage daily reading. At home, just let your child read whatever is fun, sports, about, movie characters or whatever they're into. And take more responsibility for learning. It's a great time to remind your child that to be successful in school, you got to complete your assignments. You have to care. You have to participate in classroom discussions. You have to actually ask for help if you don't understand things. It's a time of year that kids can kind of get super comfortable and forget to do these things. And above all, have an optimistic mindset. Positive thinking makes any challenge so much easier. For some kids, especially 3rd through 6th, the work is about to start to get a lot harder and we're moving into testing season. So some kids will feel a little bit of stress. So it's really, really important right now to help them visualize being successful, a lot of positive self-talk with themselves, and just keep an open mind and understand that things won't always be perfect, but they can do it. And then reminders for this week. On Friday, it is a 2.5 hour early release, so students will be dismissed at 1:21. So please make arrangements to make sure you pick them up in time or know that the buses are going to be bringing them home a little earlier. And on Monday, there is no school, and this upcoming Monday, there's no school in recognition of Martin Luther King Day, Junior Day. And we're also going to be talking with your kids a lot this week how MLK Day is a day on and not a day off. And we'll be talking about the importance of being kind and the message that came from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So I encourage you to talk to your kids about what they're hearing from morning meeting and some of the ways that we are honoring and recognizing this day. So parents, students, I know some of you watch this. I hope you have an amazing week. And remember, at Stewart, stars have deep roots.